Hey guys, welcome back to TFBTV Showtime here in beautiful and currently sunny Cincinnati. No, is it Cincinnati? Cleveland. We're in Cleveland. I'm so sorry, Cleveland.
Ohio people are going to hate you now.
Yeah, well, go Buckeyes.
There you go.
I never went to the school. Is that worse if you say it and you didn't go to the school?
I'm not even from Ohio, so I have no credibility in this.
Well, guys, welcome back to GunCon 2025 here in Ohio, in Cleveland, Ohio, at the Twist Drill building. I am here with Romeo Hotel Engineering, or Riley, I guess. You're a one-man show, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's a small outfit right now, but I'm hoping we can continue to grow things and see where the future takes us.
Yeah, so Riley, you run a small kind of like I would call it a firearms engineering company, right?
Yeah.
You have a very small selection of products right now. One that I'm pretty sure is very meme-worthy. It's been passed around a couple of times on Instagram, on 4chan, a few other places.
Oh yeah. I've been roasted for it.
The Thicc-Boi-12, right?
Yep.
But the other day when we were at the range day sponsored by First Form out there in at the range, you had a pretty interesting muzzle device. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. So I'll show you guys here too. This is what I call the gyroscopic muzzle brake, or Gyro Brake for short. And basically what this is you have a traditional sort of muzzle brake on the internal feature of this. But the true, principle behind it is that as you're shooting, your propellant gases actually cause this thing to spool up and spin. And if you think about it, it's the same reasoning why your rifle barrel has rifling in it, because you twist that bullet as it's going down bore. When it's in flight now, it still continues to spin, and that just makes it help resist crosswinds, gravity, and really any other external forces on it to stabilize it. So by putting this in the end of your rifle barrel, as you're shooting higher rates of fire, you're shooting with the FRT or super safety or a machine gun, or you just like to mag dump at high rates of fire in semi-auto, like a lot of us do. As you mag dump into trash, you're going to hit that trash more effectively with this, because as the round count sort of stacks, you're torquing this every shot you fire, and every amount of torque that goes into this drum actually increases that stabilization effect. So we're really excited to show this off today, and it's our new big product.
So with the gyroscopic brake, the gyro brake is what you're calling it, right?
Yep.
So with the gyroscopic stabilization, are you finding you're having a more effective brake with that addition to the stabilization component versus just a raw, like a directional brake?
Yeah, and we're going to do some more testing to help demonstrate that to folks. But really, this is it's kind of a muzzle brake or muzzle device in a class of its own. So we can compare it to what's traditionally out there and available, but nothing really has the spinning aspect to it. And we're going to publish some of that information to make sure customers know what they're getting into.
Right, but the science behind how it works instead of just like believe us.
Exactly. I mean, I can go into the engineering weeds all day, but most people don't want to even try to comprehend that. So to show everyone, that's going to be the most beneficial, I think.
Right. So the gyro brake more for your range. Range fun, FRT, wide open trigger, all that stuff. Yeah, like you said, mag dumping into trash.
Yep.
But also potential benefit for competitive shooters, right?
Yeah, I think if you're a competitive shooter, now I will be the first one to throw this caveat in there. Gyroscopes, they are directionally sensitive, so if you get this thing spooled up at a really high RPM and you start to pan your rifle to the right, it's actually going to want to cause your muzzle to dip down slightly. So that's why I say, and vice versa, if you pan it to the left, it's going to cause it to want to rise up slightly.
That's called gyroscopic precession for those of you who don't know.
Yeah. If you're a pilot, you ought to know that. This should be boring to you at this point. But really what I'm focusing on is like rapid fire engagement of a single target, because again, if you're shooting at high rates of fire, everyone knows that muzzle climb is a thing. You go to any range where people demonstrate machine guns, and if they're indoor, you see bullet holes in the ceiling, and a lot of time that comes from those full autos just becoming uncontrollable. So this will help tame that muzzle rise for sure.
So the gyro brake, is that available now?
Yeah, it's available right now. MSRP on it is going to be $110.
Okay.
They're not expected to ship until September, just because we're a little behind on manufacturing, but they are coming. The design's finalized. We've torture tested this thing. We're good to go.
Speaking of, so what are we talking about in terms of materials? Is it just plain steel, stainless steel, titanium?
So we go with complete construction of chrome moly steel, 4140, so pretty much the standard. Everything's going to come with a nitride finish to begin. Maybe we'll change up, do some special editions down the road of some more decorative finishes, but for now, we want to keep it as palatable as possible for the majority of people.
Yeah, because most people are just going to have a plain nitrated barrel, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yep. So we want it to match, we want it to look clean. And more importantly, we want you guys to have fun with this because that's what it's all about for me.
Yeah, I mean, shooting at the range yesterday was a wild experience because you're getting some extra noise from the spitting portion of it, and it sounds wild in your ear with the ear pro on.
Yeah, when you have your cheekbone up against the stock, you can feel the vibrations that this thing sends through your gun, and you just know that it's spooling up and it's spinning at a high RPM, and it's an attention getter too. Like if you're around other people, they hear you shooting this, they're gonna be like, "What is that?" So it's definitely gonna draw some attention toward you.
It's a see show accessory. Like if you're at the range, it's one of those things like you can't help but resist like letting someone shoot it because you have to shoot it to experience it.
Of course,
yeah.
Of course.
Speaking of experiences, the Thicc-Boi-12 is another thing. Like, was this your first project for Romeo Hotel when you started the business?
So that's what sort of launched me into my business.
Yeah, this story is great, by the way. So,
so I'll get into the weeds here, but I was just a kid who had a fascination with double barrel shotguns. And when the DP-12 was released, I knew it sort of checked all the boxes of something I'm like, I have to own that looks like a lot of fun. Yeah. And as I got into it, I started thinking more and more. I'm like, this might be an excellent suppressor host. And I knew I couldn't rely on anyone to release one because the gun sort of got a gimmicky reputation from the start. Yeah. But when you start looking at all the characteristics coming from the fact that it's in a bullpup configuration, it's got the shortest possible barrels to avoid being SPS at 18.5 inches. When you add the weight and length of a suppressor to a system like that, it doesn't become unwieldy. You don't have a long barrel with the suppressor hanging out in space that now becomes difficult to move around and swing. So on top of that, the double barrels is the other aspect that comes into play because the action remains locked while you're shooting. Yeah. You get like a semi-automatic double tap for your first two shots before having to pump the action. And that actually helps you keep the ejection port closed so you have no port pop like any other semi-automatic firearm would incur.
Less chance of gas coming back into your face.
Exactly. There's literally zero gas blowback into your face. It's honestly one of the most fun suppressed platforms I have in a shoot.
Now let's talk about the suppressor itself a little bit. Normally suppression, like this is all one piece. Like I think my monkey brain, I would have just gone with two independent suppressors. So with the one piece design, are you gaining any additional benefit for the other barrel when it's being suppressed?
Yeah, and that's a really good question. So again, as you can see here, these bores are so close together. And many video games failed at this, and I always give them a hard time with that feature of DP-12 being suppressed. You can't put two cylindrical suppressors on it. It's too tight together. So by combining it into one, I'm able to have two separate chambers basically for the right side and the left side. Mm-hmm. But I take advantage of the full internal volume. So I let that gas kind of really work to escape through the suppressor, and that just results in a more efficient process and a quieter shooting experience.
So there's basically bypass channels inside the I guess like the two separate chambers for each barrel. Okay, so they're kind of sharing space.
Yep. So the gas has got to flow down into the lower channel of the suppressor, and it cuts over to the other side, back up and out. And so it's really turned out to be efficient. And when you pair with subsonic ammunition, I just shoot without a pro. It's comfortable to me, and to me you can't beat that experience at the range.
Yeah, I wish we would have had an entirely suppressed line at the range the other day, because you did bring out some subsonic buckshot. Yep. That would have been the perfect example there.
Yep, subsonic buckshot and slugs. It's just a dream come true with this thing.
So Riley, let's say I own a DP-12 and I want to suppress it. How much does one of these suppressors cost?
So these suppressors right now retail for about $12.50. We do pre-orders sort of every now and then just due to the expense, but we've been making these for a while now, a few years, and there's a bunch of them out in the wild. So if this is something that interests you, make sure you check out RomeoHotelEng.com for more details.
Do I need to buy any additional chokes or anything like that to attach to the DP-12, or does it come with everything I need?
No, that's the best part too. So this comes with extended choke tubes that just replace your factory choke tubes, and it comes with a tool that basically everything you need to install, change from suppressed to unsuppressed, and vice versa. So everything you need is right in the box. It's just all you got to do is commit.
I guess that's the final word, right? You just got to commit and buy one.
Exactly.
Well, Raleigh, thank you so much for showing us obviously the Gyro Brake, really very cool, and of course the Thicc-Boi-12. And guys, stay tuned for more from GunCon 2025 here on TFBTV and TFBTV Showtime.